Scorpio, from the 24th of October to the 22nd of November. Rules: the sexual organs. Metal, magnet, stone, topaz, perfume, coral. Plant, the oak tree. Flower, chrysanthemum. Planet, Mars. Color, red. Element, water. Keyword, action. Day, Tuesday. Ruler, Samael. Beloved disciple, we have arrived at the omnipotent empire of strength and power. We now only want to speak in the language of majesty and might. We now only want to understand the omnipotence of strength. This is the terrible kingdom of Pluto, the omnipotent empire of strength and of the magician. This is the igneous dwelling of bellicose Mars. Legions of the earth, legions of the air, legions of the waters, legions of the fire, obey us. Scorpio rules the sexual organs, and in the latter resides all the power of the magician. Scorpio is the house of Mars, and Pluto the visitor. We say visitor because this terrible genie of practical magic does not belong to this solar system. He is merely a visitor who is helping all the warriors of the rocky path. Within his majestic temple, we see two enormous symbolical balls. See him there. His veiled face is terribly divine and exhales the omnipotence of power. Pluto attends the initiate's call when black forces attack us. Pluto can defend us from the tenebrous lords of black magic. See him there. He has cast his ball and attends the call of a supplicant. Sons of the earth, listen to thy instructors, the sons of the fire. Now, beloved disciple, we will deliver to thee the supreme key of the great arcane, the omnipotent secret of the Kundalini. The Kundalini is awakened with sexual magic. During moments of love, in which the couple feels ineffable delights, thou should connect thyself with thy wife sexually and pronounce during this connection the powerful mantrams of the Kundalini, as I received them from the angel of command called Arok. These mantrams are the following: Kandil, Bandil, Rrrr. They will be vocalized in the form of a song, prolonging the sound of the vowels and raising the voice in the first syllable of each word, and lowering it in the second syllable. The letter R is pronounced in a high and sharp manner, like the voice of a child, prolonging the sound as if it was the sound of a motor or a mill when it is left without grain to grind, which produces a sharp and thin sound. Listen well. These are the most powerful mantrams known in the entire infinite to awaken the Kundalini. Thou can also vocalize them mentally and withdraw from thy wife priestess without seminal ejaculation. The restrained desire will make the energy rise upwards towards thy head, and thus thou shalt awaken thy Kundalini and become gods. I will now transcribe a few paragraphs from the 8th lesson of the Zodiacal course by the Venerable Master Arnold Crumb Heller, Guru, Viracocha, Archbishop of the Gnostic Church, so that our disciples comprehend well these teachings. Let us see. Instead of the coition that reaches orgasm, considerate soft caresses should be given, amorous phrases and delicate touches constantly maintaining the mind away from animal sexuality, as if the act was a true religious ceremony. However, the man can and should introduce the penis and keep it in the feminine sex so that a divine sensation, full of joy, which can last complete hours, overcomes them, withdrawing it at the moment the spasm draws nearer to avoid ejaculation of semen. In this manner, they will have more and more desire each time to caress each other. This can be repeated as many times as desired, without exhaustion ever befalling, since on the contrary, it is the magical key to be rejuvenated, daily maintaining the body healthy and prolonging life, since it is a fountain of health with this constant magnetization. We know that in ordinary magnetism, the magnetizer communicates fluids to the subject, and if the former has these energies developed, he can heal the latter. The transmission of the magnetic fluid is ordinarily done by the hands or the eyes, but it is necessary to say there isn't a more powerful conductor, 1,000 times more powerful, 1,000 times superior to the others, than the virile member and the vulva as organs of reception. If many people practice this, strength and prosperity spreads around them for all those who come into commercial or social contact with them. But in the act of divine, sublime magnetization to which we refer, both men and women are reciprocally magnetized, being one for the other, like a musical instrument that when strummed ejects or produces sounds prodigious of mysterious and sweet harmonies. The chords of that instrument are scattered all over the body, and in the lips and fingers are its principal pulsators, on the condition that the most absolute purity presides this act, which is what makes us magicians in this supreme instant. This is the path of the willingness foul path of the bliss of Khan. These paragraphs from the 8th lesson of the sublime Viracocha enclose the supreme secret of the Grand Arcanum, of which Eliphas Levi speaks to us so much about, without ever having dared to reveal it. This is the key to awaken the Kundalini and make oneself a magician. The Kundalini is the igneous serpent of our magical powers. The Kundalini is the solar fire locked up within a membranous pocket in the coccygeal bone, within the sacral region, which is the base of the spinal column. The Kundalini is the sexual fire. The Kundalini is the fire of the Holy Spirit. The Kundalini is the flaming sword of the cherubim that guards the entrance to Eden. This is why in the masterpiece titled The Gnostic Church, Master Viracocha says that we should take advantage of the medulla and the semen to the maximum, because therein lies the redemption of man. Referring to the semen, the Master says in Esoteric Rose, "Raise well thy cups, and be careful of not spilling even a single drop of thy precious liquid. Refrained desire will transmute the semen into Christic energy, and this energy will at the same time be bipolarized into positive and negative to rise in 2 nervous canals located at the right and left of the spinal medulla. In India, these 2 spermatic canals are called Ida and Pingala. The right canal is positive, and therein ascend the solar atoms. The left canal is lunar, and therein rise the lunar atoms. Ida and Pingala part from a sacral center called Tribeni, located above the medulla oblongata. The semen is transmuted into Christic energies. That energy is the wine of light. That wine of light converts us into living Buddhas. The 2 canals, Ida and Pingala, resound with the musical note of the Chinese gong, or the musical fa. The spinal medulla, with its 2 nervous cords, is the Brahmitic cord. The spinal medulla is the rod of Brahma, Aaron's rod, the rod of the patriarchs, the rod of Moses, the scepter of the divine kings, and the bamboo cane of 7 joints of the yogis in India. The secret to awaken the Kundalini is in the miracle that Christ did at the wedding of Cana. The transmutation of water into wine is accomplished in nuptials during the trance of sexual magic. With refrained effort, water, or semen, will be transmuted into wine of alchemical light. When the solar and lunar atoms of our seminal energy make contact in the center of the coccyx, then the snake begins to move, producing a great pain in the coccyx. It breaks the membranous pocket and enters the spinal medulla through an orifice which remains closed in run-of-the-mill people. The vapors that rise from the semen uncover that orifice, which is the door of the Sushumna canal. This canal advances along the spinal medulla to the end of the cervical vertebrae. Thereby rises the igneous serpent or liquid fire of the Kundalini. This sacred fire rises along a fine string that serves as a conductor within the canal of the medulla. The ascension of the Kundalini is regulated by the fires of the heart. In occultism, the spinal vertebrae are called canyons or pyramids. Each canyon has its occult name and powers. The spinal column has 33 canyons and 33 divine atoms. The ascent of the Kundalini is carried out canyon by canyon, degree by degree. Each canyon costs terrible tests in the physical and astral planes. This is the path of unutterable bitterness and martyrdom. The nervous branches which communicate the chakras with the medulla part from the fine cord of the medulla. The Kundalini sets fire to all the lotus flowers or chakras of our organism as it rises canyon by canyon. Through the 33 canyons we pass through the chambers of the great Masonic Lodge of the astral plane. The external chambers are the lesser mysteries, and the internal chambers are the greater mysteries. The disciple should learn the Masonic salutes from his own inner being. The internal master should teach them to him. The thickness of the Kundalini will depend on the amount of stored sexual energy. The color of the Kundalini depends on the psychological idiosyncrasy of the disciple. The Kundalini rises in accordance with the practice of sexual magic and in accordance with our process of sanctification. For as we said, the ascension depends on the merits of the heart. We have to sum up our defects and dedicate 2 months to each defect in a successive order until we put an end to all the defects. This simple rule is the key to making the Kundalini rise, because the disciple then comes out triumphant in all the astral and physical tests and wins the canyons quickly one after the other. A single ejaculation or sexual discharge is enough for a fuse to be burned. That is to say, for the nervous cord through which the Kundalini ascends to fail. Then the fire falls 1 or 2 canyons according to the magnitude of the fault, and consequently loses the acquired powers. Our Lord the Christ told me, the disciple should not let himself fall. He has to struggle very much to recover what has been lost. Throughout the initiations of lesser mysteries, the disciple has to pass through the entire tragedy of Golgotha. Will at last climb the Golgotha of high initiation, where he will be fused with his inner being and become master of the White Lodge. High initiation is the fusion of 2 principles, Atma Buddhi, or the 5 principal initiations of greater mysteries. With the first we achieve the fusion of Atma Buddhi, and with the 5th we add the Manas to this fusion, and so the septenary is reduced to a trinity, Atma Buddhi Manas. There are a total of 9 initiations of greater mysteries. Atman is the being. Atman is the inner being. Atman is our internal angel, and Buddhi is our spirit soul.
When the inner being and the soul spirit fuse, a new master of humanity is born. And when the manas, or human soul, is added to this fusion, then a new blessed one is born. Redemption begins outside the inferior eye and ends outside the interior eye. We already spoke of the 7 serpents of Eden in the sign of Virgo. We have 7 bodies and 7 serpents of fire. Each of the 7 bodies has its Kundalini, its serpent. The first serpent opens to thee the 7 churches located in the Buddhic body. A stigmatized and Christified Buddhic body inevitably fuses with the inner being. The second serpent belongs to the etheric body and takes us to the second initiation of greater mysteries, which confers upon us the power to travel in the etheric body, or Somapuchikon, which Max Heindel talks to us about. The third serpent corresponds to the mental body and totally opens for us all the chakras, wheels or discs of the astral body, and corresponds to the third of greater mysteries. The fourth serpent corresponds to the mental body and permits us to Christify the mind. The Christ mind takes us to the 4th initiation of greater mysteries and confers the degree of Arhat upon us. The 5th serpent belongs to the causal body, from which we extract the human soul, or manas, to fuse it with Atma Buddhi. This is the 5th initiation, and confers the degree Aseka upon us. The 6th serpent belongs to Buddhi. This 6th portal is like a cup of transparent and white alabaster, within which the fire of the inner being burns. You are that cup, now burning with the fire of your 6th serpent. The seventh serpent belongs to the very body of the inner being. From the physical body, through the kundalini, we extract the soul conscience, which, absorbed in the buddhi, becomes fused with the inner being. From the etheric body, we extract through the golden kundalini of this body the sapient soul. From the astral, through the snowy kundalini of that vehicle, we extract the conscious soul. From the mental body, through its respective kundalini, we extract a spiritual summary of the astral body. From the causal or will body, we extract a spiritual tablet or human soul. The other two serpents take us to the ineffable bliss of nirvana. These are the 7 degrees of the power of fire. Only the terror of love and law reign throughout these 7 portals. The 8th and 9th degrees take us to ineffable regions. The Prateka Buddhas have the 8th initiation, and the 9th belongs to the degree of the King of the World. The construction of the spinal system and the medulla is analogous in each of the 7 bodies. Each of the 7 bodies is a complete organism. All the 7 medullas interpenetrate each other without becoming confused. The 7th initiation confers upon us the degree of Mahachohan. The Mahachohan becomes guardian of the Akashic archives and director of the works of the Great White Lodge. The waters of the Huangho, on passing torrential, intone the gong, that is to say, the keynote, fa, of nature, which makes our kundalini vibrate in the sacred river of life. Buddha, the Redeemer of Mars, now radiates Buddhic force from that planet, which, with Scorpio, enters our seminal system and moves in us the incentive of Christification. Buddhic atoms flood our seminal canals. The Buddhic atoms fill our internal vehicles and saturate the very internal structures with the strength of Mars. Buddha has become a warrior. Now he radiates his powerful Buddhic Martian energy from Mars. What a marvel of creation this is! Buddha has become a warrior. The Buddhic Martian atoms will produce the age of intuition, Aquarius. Our Buddhic principle is the superlative conscience of the being. It is the soul spirit. Now the warrior force of Mars has become Buddhic, and the heroes of light will surge everywhere. Mars in Scorpio makes the atoms of Buddha reach our seminal system to achieve the Christification of man. The Buddhic atoms under the force of Mars will convert us into living Christs. Buddha, the Christ of the Martians, now throbs in our seminal system. Our body and our Buddhic atoms confer upon us the gift of feeling the supreme knowledge. The Buddhic conscience is now warlike, and a new type of warriors has been born, those of light, the paladins of the new era. The new era will emerge from the wars of this century because Mars is now Buddhic. The sacrifice of Buddha on Mars was like that of the Christ among us. Buddha prepared himself on earth to later become the Christ of the Martians. The natives of Scorpio are of strong will, but should fight against the defect of anger, of hatred and vengeance. The natives of Scorpio are either totally chaste or fornicators altogether. They always pass through bitterness before the age of 30. Topaz the stone, bright red the color, iron the metal. Sons of men, dost thou want to enter the ineffable bliss of nirvana? Dost thou want to become gods? Dost thou want to become Christs? Dost thou want to become free of the wheel of births and deaths? Here I have given thee the key of sexual magic. What more dost thou want?